7 years ago today, my boys. What were you doing 7 years ago at this very moment in time? Because around that time, I had just either finished my first or second surgery on my elbow for baseball. Was still playing baseball, things like that, but sadly that did not work out. But thankfully at the same time, on that day 7 years ago, your boy decided to make a YouTube channel for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, because this is the day 7 years ago that this game actually released. And in today's video, I just want to talk about my love and appreciation for this game. At the same time, talk about some major changes that have come to this game as well, things that have been added in, and how much different this game is today as opposed to it was 7 years ago. So first and foremost, I just truly want to shout out, the people at Dimps Bandai for giving us one of the best Dragon Ball games ever all time. It's definitely in my top 3 without a doubt. Now, in no order, my top 3 contains Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. Absolutely love that game for its time. Like when it first came out, man, the level system with the characters, just the way the mechanics worked, all things like that. It was an absolute gem, in my opinion, at the very least. Then we got Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Saiyans. I'm a huge JRPG fan and turn-based fan if the turn-based action is done right. And honestly, if you have not played Attack of the Saiyans and like turn-based games in any way, shape, or form, that definitely is a game you need to check out because it is absolutely amazing, at least in my opinion, at the very least. And then Xenoverse 2 is definitely in that top 3 as well, just because of the longevity this game has, the good times that this game has given me, all the content that this game has in it as well. Like, there is no Dragon Ball game out there with more content than Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 has to offer. Now, in terms of appreciation, I just want to shout out and show some love to the Dimps team, to the people at Bandai for giving us this amazing game, because like I said, I mean, some of us have literally been playing this game for 7 years, my boys. Whether it's been on and off or just consistently, still 7 years have gone by, and some of us out there have had this game since day one. So again, shout out to Bandai, shout out to Dimps for giving us one of the best Dragon Ball games of all time, even though it definitely does has its issues that still do need to be addressed till this day that were in the game day one. I mean, things like netcode, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Like, damn, it would be great if we got a better netcode. But even without that better netcode, right, this is still one of my favorite Dragon Ball games of all time, not only because of all the content that it has, but I truly do love the battle system as well. Like, the battle system to me is very, very good. It's very Dragon Ball as well. The burst dashing, the way your character moves, how smooth the flying feels, all things like that. It just really feels Dragon Ball, in my opinion. Some things are missing, like beam clashes, things along those lines, but for the most part, this is one of the closest games that I feel you get to an actual Dragon Ball fight experience, how fast your characters move, all things like that, right? So again, shout out to them, even though there are some things missing and some issues that this game has. Got to show some love to Bandai and Dimps for putting out an absolutely amazing game that still is standing 7 years later and still getting more content at the same time. Now let's talk about some things that have changed on this game. First and foremost, just how the game has changed in terms of gameplay, the metas of the game, things like that. I mean, back in the day, things like key canceling, any kind of cancel, really wasn't known about, but also certain moves back then were the absolute meta of the game as well, like the Go-Go Gum Dragon Flash Bullet, for example. Like, the game has gone through a lot of phases, and attacks weren't nearly as good back then as they are now. Like, so many skills have been buffed from day one to now that have made them so much better. It's honestly crazy when you think about where skills were back in the day. Back in the day, getting 10k damage off of an ult was very good damage. That is no longer the case. That's just mediocre damage at this point in time. So that right there, just the difference in how the game is played is absolutely insane to think about, and how many skills and stuff like that have been changed as well. Now, I'm not going to talk about the obvious in terms of additions to the game, things like characters, stuff like that. I mean, that's just something you're going to get with any kind of DLC in any fighting game, period. But I do want to hit on some of the modes slash events that have been added into this game since the very beginning of it, because there's a lot of stuff that we did not have in the beginning of this game that is here now and is still playable for us now at this point in time. So the first thing that I got down on this list right here, guys, is crystal raids. Crystal raids were not a thing that were in the game at all when it released, and I think it was a very cool thing to add to the game because, one, it gives you the opportunity to feel like a raid boss in this game, and then also it is a way to unlock skills, equipment, all things like that through that mode without going through the RNG grind of parallel quests. Like the parallel quest, oh my god, I can't believe they still haven't changed that. Thankfully, they at the very least gave us that Super Soul from Orange Piccolo in DLC 16, but still, the parallel quests are absolutely atrocious when it comes to RNG on this game, and double crystal raids in general can definitely help with that without a doubt. So crystal raids added not only the fact that you can be a raid boss, but it made it a lot easier to get a lot of the skills that you were struggling with in the parallel quest. Now, next up, we have the Hero Coliseum. Now, honestly, I think this could have been one of the best additions to this game, period. Like, this could have been a great addition to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 if they would have been a lot more consistent with this right here. This is a type of live service type of mode, in a sense, a gacha type of mode that needs that live service and needs that constant updating, but sadly that was just something that they were not willing to do for it, and some may still play it till this day. But again, I think it truly could have been a mode that is still a staple in Xenoverse 2 if it would have actually been handled and treated properly. Like, instead of dropping 40 units per DLC like they were for a while, why not just drop like 5 units every week, 5 units every other week, something like that, to keep people's interest in that mode alive, and not just have it be where you're getting only new stuff for it when a new DLC and new update drops. Because again, that's just way too long for a mode like this that is a gacha based mode to have a drought of content in. But again, I do think the Hero Coliseum was a great idea, just not necessarily the best execution. Now, what else has been added into this game? The next one I have on this list is one that, I mean, personally, I wish they would get rid of it. That's just me. But that is the Frieza Siege mode. The Frieza Siege mode is something that is just, nah. The first couple times it could be cool, but after that, I mean, the rewards aren't great. It's just kind of annoying to see it pop up and like interrupt what you're doing in the game when Frieza does pop up and talks about, you know, invading Kanton City or whatever the fuck. Like, nobody really wants to deal with that. Unless you're brand new to the game and have never seen it before, it's really annoying at this point in time, and definitely one of the worst events that we have in this game as well. But moving on to something that actually is a little bit better. Let's talk about the parallel quest and expert mission tours. This is something that has made the online, or not online, but the grinding of parallel quests, expert missions for TP medals, things like that. It has made it so much better, and I'm so appreciative of that mode right there, because when it comes to grinding TP medals, for example, it is that much faster without a doubt. Not only do you get more TP medals from this, but you're also doing it back to back to back. You don't have to constantly load in and out and in and out and in and out. So I think that was personally a great addition to the game without a doubt. And also, when that did drop, we saw the introduction of 6-star QQ bangs as well, which is definitely something that is very, very cool, because now you're really able, you know, to get some QQ bangs that really don't give any negatives and only give positives. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who is not a fan of 6-star QQ bangs in the Xenoverse 2 community. So that was definitely a good addition that came along with that mode right there. Now, next up, I have Kanton TV. This is something that is similar to the Hero Coliseum. It's something I feel they're letting go to waste completely, because the Kanton City TV events would honestly bring their own little hype to Xenoverse 2. Sadly, we don't really see them anymore. Hopefully they bring it back with DLC 17, because again, like I said, it brought their own little hype to the game. It had a lot of people gathering on that Kanton TV area to watch it, gathering in streams, and people would be excited for these Kanton TV dates at the same time. So I truly do hope they do end up bringing that back, but it definitely was a great addition that they added into this game. It's just something that they did not keep up with, sadly, at the same time. Now, next up on my list, I got custom partners, my boys. This was one of the best things they possibly could have added into Xenoverse 2, in my opinion, at the very least. I mean, honestly, it just makes custom characters give that vibe of almost a CAC in a sense. It brings you back to the days of the Budokai Tenkaichi days where you could customize your characters with any skills, things along those lines, change up their skill sets to what you wanted, all that stuff, and then you can change their actual outfits with some characters, and then obviously you can color any character's outfit as well, just giving them your own personal feel to these characters. And I truly think that was a great addition and one of the best things that have ever been added in to Xenoverse 2. And again, this is not something that was in the game day one. Now next up, we have some more recent things that I'm about to talk about that were just added in within this update. And think about this. All three of these were just added in the newest free update. It's why some people are saying this is probably one of the best free updates, if not the best, we have ever seen on this game. So we got Cross Versus. This mode honestly is very, very fun. I think it's being a little bit overlooked right now because a lot of people are doing things that are like offline based and fighting the computer, are doing stuff for the Festival of Universes event. But the Cross Versus mode is definitely something that is very, very fun. Like, I truly enjoyed, I did a stream or two with it, and I truly enjoyed this mode without a doubt. It was so much fun to play this mode. It's a different kind of twist. It almost feels like PvE and PvP at the same time. So I truly think Cross Versus is a great addition to Xenoverse 2 without a doubt. Then of course, like I just mentioned, we got the Festival of Universes event, and this does seem like it's going to be something that is going to be a mainstay on Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, because right now there are rewards that are not being made available that I'm assuming will be made available in the next set of 9 weeks for this game, like the Pride Trooper uniform, like all the other auras and things like that. The customizable Pride Trooper uniform, I should say. And on the thing of customizable uniforms, that's another thing that has been added in with this free update right here. That is absolutely amazing. This is something the community has been asking for years. Literally since Xenoverse 1, we have talked about this, and now finally it seems they are doing it. And like I said in that DLC 17 leak / data mine video, there are seeming to be a lot more coming to this game at the same time, and some absolute fire ones like the Gogeta outfit in particular. That is one that I'm just so excited for to see on this game. I cannot wait to see it in Xenoverse 2 and have it on my CAC, because I'm gonna be swagged out on a whole nother level, my boys. I'm telling you right now, right here, I cannot wait for that without a doubt. Now honestly, I don't have anything else on this list, and at the same time, nothing really else comes to mind that could have been an addition from day one in terms of like modes, events, things like that. But if I am missing something, let me know down below in the comments. But at the end of this video and at the end of the day, it just shows how much Xenoverse 2 has truly changed throughout the years. Like, there have been so many changes to this game. It's really crazy to honestly think about. Like, seriously, all this stuff that I just mentioned. Then I talk about how many skills and moves were updated at the same time. Like, skills from day one compared to now are on whole different levels from what they were. The damage has been increased insanely. Oh, level 120 is something that has been made available to us as well. Now, level 99 wasn't necessarily a day one thing, but it was something we knew was going to be in the game, and it did end up happening throughout the first 4 DLCs. We kind of knew that was going to be a thing, so it's kind of a day one thing, kind of not at the same time, but still, we knew we were going to get to level 99. We never knew if we were going to exceed that though, and we finally did with this newest free update, letting us get to that level 120 marker. So there's just been so many things that have been added into the game, so many little modes, events, things along those lines. The custom partners, like I mentioned before, one of the best additions ever possible to Xenoverse 2, in my opinion, at the very least. But let me know down below in the comments, first and foremost, if I missed anything that had been added into Xenoverse 2 from day one to now. And then also, what are one of your favorite additions to Xenoverse 2 from day one all the way up until now? Now, do not include things like DLC characters. I mean, that stuff is obvious. Like I mentioned before, any fighting game that gets DLCs, it's going to have characters in it as well. So do not include things like that. But what are some of your favorite either events, modes, changes, things along those lines that Dimps and Bandai have done to Xenoverse 2 that you truly have enjoyed the most? But with that being said, my boys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, hope you have a good one. Peace, y'all.